today on V's and O's, we're going to talk about the man-to-man defense for Villanova and how it really is successful. So we're going to talk about this team's willingness to switch off high ball screens and how that can put a team in a very difficult position defensively with some mismatches, but how Villanova reacts to it. So let's say that this is Azubuike for Kansas, right? The big guy underneath the basket and a guy that's going to be guarded by, in this case, let's go with Saddiq Bey here. And so normally you're going to have Saddiq Bey just right here on Azubuike, not fronting him, but staying behind him, in between him and the basket. And you're going to force Azubuike to try to get to the basket there through essentially a brick wall there, or try to get his way to the basket by spinning with footwork, etc. That's pure one-on-one, man-to-man defense with the other four guys out there on the perimeter. However, what we've seen a lot of teams try to do against Villanova, and it makes sense given some of the size disparity, is send Azubuike right up here to the top, set a high ball screen. This is going to bring Saddiq Bey up here as well, and this defender comes off the ball screen. Now, Villanova has two choices at this point. Saddiq Bey here has a lot of responsibility. Is he going to hedge and then recover as this defender fights through this screen, maintaining the one-on-one matchup and Saddiq Bey inside on Azubuike as he slides to the hole? Or is what's going to happen a pure switch? What that would mean here, point guard with the basketball, Villanova defender here. Here comes the high ball screen from Azubuike. It's set there, and all of a sudden, Saddiq Bey is now guarding this guy right here. And let's say Colin Gillespie now has to drop down as Azubuike comes here, and now the decision has to be made. Well, Colin Gillespie can't be right here with Azubuike here. He can't just stand in between Azubuike and the basket and not expect Azubuike to back him down and score that way. So what Colin Gillespie has to do is now front Udoka Azubuike. And that's going to look a little something like this. Azubuike here on his back and Gillespie fronting him, Azubuike asking for the ball. Well, now what happens? Everybody else has to cheat here. Defender here comes in just the least bit. He's going to need to react here to the corner as needed because this defender has to slide down and provide at least a deterrent for that ball being lobbed over the top to Azubuike. That defender needs to come in there and make that interception if possible. And really, it's one of those things where if you don't have the size, it's about a grit and an effort, and which team, one, is smarter, and two, has more effort and is going to make things difficult. Because every time of the week, this should work, even if it is Jermaine Samuels coming down, even if it is Justin Moore sliding down here, Azubuike can, and it sometimes did in that Kansas game, get the ball, amidst the double team, swim through, slam it with two hands. However, Villanova also got their share of turnovers when they were employing it against this particular offensive set, and were successful as a result. Now let's take a look at something else. Same concept. All of a sudden, the defender comes in here, and Azubuike slides. Let's say it slides out this way, right? The double teams here. This point guard is trying to decide what to do with the basketball, and everybody's out of position a little bit defensively. There's a mismatch up here. This defender here is trying to make a decision, having to slide in between two defenders. So a way to beat this defense is for this ball right off the screen to come to this wing three right here. He's got two options. Does he go extra pass to the corner as this defender has to come out here to guard, or does he pump fake it, forcing this defender to make a decision and launch it up? Or does he go one pass here? This guy can drive to the basket. Here comes this collapsing defender. Where's Azubuike at this point? Still on Colin Gillespie, unless Saddiq Bey has found a way back down into the lane. So again, a lot of moving parts, very fluid here, but it's essentially chaos and recover from a Villanova man-to-man defense where they don't have the size to match up with a Theo John or a Udoka Azubuike, the two examples we've used, two guys that Villanova has had to go up against in recent weeks. In one situation with the Azubuike big man against Kansas, Villanova did an excellent job. Theo John, maybe not so much. The difference there, I think, certainly Marcus Howard, a guy that can stretch it from deep, a guy that puts so much pressure on a defense. Kansas didn't have guys that could reliably hit the three on that particular day. So Villanova, pick your poison, certainly. Do you hedge and recover? There's already some mismatches there. Or do you play that pure switch, chaos recover, double team, front the big, and make things difficult, make life difficult for that offensive opposition that you have? It's not going to work every time, but it's something Villanova is very committed to, something they do quite well over the course of a 30-game season, and it takes effort, intensity, and buy-in from the guys for it to work. So it's won a couple of national championships, yes, with the right personnel, but they found a way to kind of out-hustle the other defenses even when the personnel doesn't quite add up. That's the V's and O's segment of our Villanova basketball report. We'll be right back on the other side with some other thoughts about the Cats going forward, including a few huge matchups coming up over the next few weeks. Stay with us.